Think about insurance. You happily pay thousands every year hoping you will never use it. The Patriot system follows exactly the same economic logic. It protects infrastructure worth hundreds of billions. Power stations, factories, airports, financial centers, oil terminals, ports. Without them, GDP collapses, export stops, tax revenue disappears, investors panic, inflation rises. Suddenly, a $5 million expense looks incredibly cheap. Economists call this avoiding catastrophic losses. The return isn't measured by profit, it's measured by what didn't happen. During 2026, multiple regional conflicts dramatically increased global demand for advanced air defense. Countries that had treated these systems as strategic reserves suddenly found themselves consuming interceptors at rates nobody had planned for. Factories built for peacetime production suddenly faced wartime demand. Governments rushed to secure new orders. Delivery schedules stretched years into the future. This wasn't simply a military issue. It became an industrial economics problem. Defense manufacturers expanded production. Suppliers searched for skilled workers. Governments negotiated emergency contracts. Capital expenditures increased. Investors suddenly realized this wasn't a temporary spike. Demand looked structural. One of the oldest economic laws is simple. Scarcity increases value. Patriot interceptors cannot be produced overnight. Each contains advanced electronics, precision manufacturing, highly specialized components, highly trained labor. This creates bottlenecks. Even unlimited money cannot instantly increase production. This is exactly what economists call an inelastic supply curve. Demand can double. Supply cannot. Prices rise. Waiting lists grow. Governments compete. Manufacturers gain pricing power. Scarcity became one of the most valuable assets in the entire defense industry. People often imagine one company building everything. Reality is very different. Thousands of suppliers contribute electronics, sensors, software, propulsion systems, precision metals, and advanced materials. One missing microchip can delay an entire production line. One shortage of rocket motors slows deliveries worldwide. This is supply chain economics in its purest form. Modern manufacturing isn't limited by money. It's limited by production capacity. During 2026, expanding production became less about factories and more about skilled labor, specialized machinery, and long-term supplier contracts. The bottleneck wasn't demand. It was industrial capability. Financial markets react quickly to changing expectations. Defense contractors experienced increased investor attention as governments announced larger procurement plans and multi-year commitments. For investors, these contracts represented something highly valuable: predictable cash flow, government-backed customers, long production pipelines, reduced uncertainty. Large order backlogs also provided visibility into future revenue. Unlike many consumer industries, demand wasn't driven by quarterly shopping habits. It was driven by long-term strategic budgets. Markets reward predictable earnings. That made major defense companies attractive to many institutional investors. Inflation affects far more than groceries. Steel becomes more expensive. Copper rises. Energy costs increase. Transportation costs climb. Highly skilled engineers demand higher wages. Every one of these increases pushes production costs upward. Long-term government contracts suddenly become much more complicated. Manufacturers negotiate adjustments. Governments revise budgets. Taxpayers ultimately absorb much of the additional cost. This is a reminder that inflation quietly reshapes every industry, even those producing highly specialized technology. Every economist loves opportunity cost. Spend $5 billion here, and you cannot spend it somewhere else. Healthcare, education, tax reductions, debt payments. Every Patriot purchase represents a budget decision. Governments constantly balance financial priorities. However, supporters argue the opposite. Without protecting critical infrastructure, economic growth itself becomes impossible. Factories cannot operate. Ports cannot export. Financial centers cannot function. Sometimes protecting the economy becomes a prerequisite for growing the economy. The biggest lesson from 2026 wasn't that demand increased. It was that governments began investing heavily in industrial capacity itself. New factories, expanded production lines, supplier financing, long-term purchasing agreements. Instead of buying only finished products, countries invested in manufacturing ecosystems. This resembles venture capital more than traditional procurement. Governments effectively became investors in industrial capacity. Their goal wasn't immediate output. It was resilience years into the future. Behind every visible conflict lies another contest. Factories versus factories. Budget versus budgets. Supply chains versus supply chains. Credit ratings, government debt, industrial productivity, engineering talent. The country that maintains production longer often gains a decisive economic advantage. Wars increasingly become competitions between industrial balance sheets. The battlefield starts inside factories, investment plans, and government budgets. What can investors learn from this story? First, scarcity creates value. Second, industrial capacity cannot be built overnight. Third, insurance often appears expensive until disaster strikes. And finally, The strongest economies aren't simply those with the largest GDP. They are the ones capable of rapidly converting capital into production. The story of the Patriot missile isn't really about one piece of technology. It's about economics, about manufacturing, investment, supply chains, inflation, and opportunity cost. And about a timeless lesson every investor should remember. The most valuable asset isn't always the one generating profits. Sometimes it is the one preventing catastrophic losses. Because in finance, just as in history, preserving wealth is often far cheaper than rebuilding it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. To make sure you don't miss my future work, subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.